Welcome, or welcome back to 4F Beauty. When will I be YouTube famous? Genuinely don't know. However, in a bid to become YouTube famous, or just spread the love so more people can come join my 4F family, I am part of a very select group of ladies, all of whom have small channels like myself, and we are the Beauty YouTuber growth group. They are all linked in my description box, and once you've watched this video, it'd be awesome if you'd pop over and check out some of theirs. And if you have come to me from one of theirs, hi, welcome on board. I really hope you enjoy this. Now, you can see today's look, we might be heading into autumn, but my eyes are telling me it's a hot day. It's not a hot day. It's really not a hot day. But I achieved this look with another one of the new palettes from Obsession, and this is the Be Crazy About, and as you can see it's got holographic text on the box. It also has holographic text on the palette inside too. So, if you want to find out exactly which colours from this box I used to create this look, my friend, you are in exactly the right place. Put your feet up, grab a drink. Here comes the tutorial. Hey, welcome back from the intro. Probably already shown you this in the intro, but this is the palette that I'm going to be using today. This is another one of the new range from Obsession. This is their Be Crazy About palette. I did show this in my haul video. If I remember, I'll link that in the description. But you know, I'm like remembering links. Nice magnetic closure on it. Let's get rid of that plastic thing which just ends up digging into the shadows. Good sized mirror, super bright shadows, and if you notice these have all got little notches in, so you can actually lift each shadow out and basically create your own custom palette. So for example, I've also got the Be Passionate About, which is like the modern Renaissance dupe. So if I was going away and didn't have a great deal of space, I could do one row of my favourites from the modern Renaissance dupe, the Be Passionate About, and then one row of this from the Be Crazy About, and I could have like daytime and evening. So that I like. I will put swatches up here now. Boom. Top row from left to right or wrist to elbow is Icon, Joy, Cloud9, Idle and Excite, and that's given a very good name because the colour of that does excite me. And the bottom row, Ardle, Champion, Hero Worship, Emotion and Fire. So, back to me. Hello. Sorry, still got a bit of a cough from the old man. Right, let's zoom in and start banging stuff on my eyeballs. How's your day been? Has it been a good one? I hope it's been a good one. Right, I'm going to go in with this Revolution Conceal and Define in 0.5. Because these are bright shadows, so I want to give them a nice light base to work from. Because I don't know what the fallout's going to be like. Obviously, I haven't done my base yet. I don't tend to use eyelid primers mainly because I find that this works just as well for me as an eyelid primer does. So why buy something else that you don't need to? But also because when my eyes are so deep set, all the capillaries are very close to the surface, which is why I've always got dark circles. And you can see there's darkness on my lids as well. So I like to use a concealer. I mean, you can get tinted eyelid primers. I know Urban Decay do one. But to me, I always find, or I feel personally, that a concealer covers it better for me. And you know, why buy an extra piece of kit if you don't need it? You know, if this works for you, great. Why buy an eyelid primer? If you've got very dry or very oily eyelids, you might find that a primer would work better for you. If you're like me and you've got issues with deep set eyes and you know, darkness and stuff, get a tinted primer. Or maybe put the concealer on and then prime over the top. This is a Morphe G38, which annoyingly they don't seem to have on their site anymore. I like this. Taylor from That Taylor uses it to set her under eyes, and I just thought, wow, you know, let's give that a go. Let's see what that brush is like. And do you know what? Oh, I really like it, so I'm really bummed that Morphe seem to have stopped doing it. However, I have washed this one a couple of times and there hasn't been any fallout from the bristles, so that is good. Hopefully this should last me quite some time. We can but hope, huh? So I have just set that with Coty Airspun Translucent Extra Coverage. I bought this off of a mate because she went to America on holiday and bought one to try it but couldn't get on with the smell. It is quite highly scented. You can buy them from Amazon. Even if you're not a Prime member, if you choose ones that are Prime eligible, I believe that the vendor has to prove to Amazon the validity of the product. So you're less likely to get a fake sent to you because, unfortunately, scammers have now infiltrated Amazon as well. Now, last bit of waffling before I bung some colour on my eyes. When I look straight ahead, you can see all of my mobile lid. So I don't have a hooded lid. I do have deep set eyes, which means if I put my brush handle there and then close my eye, you can see I've got equal amount of lid that shows as disappears. In fact, I've probably got more lid that disappears back in. So I do always get transfer of shimmers up onto the upper lid, but it all tends to fold back in on itself, so it's not too much of an issue. So this is a very similar thing that people with hooded eyes have. The issue they have is that they don't have any lid or very much lid showing underneath that creasy bit. So you can still follow my tutorial. If you grab a brush, something like this, nice flat top to it, pick up the first crease colour, with your eye open, just sketch out where you need your crease colour to be so that you've still got space for lid colour. Now if you've got a completely hooded eye or an Asian eye, for example, mono lid they're sometimes called, you might find that you have to do your crease almost right up here equivalent so that your lid is actually part of your main eye, okay? So you can still follow my tutorial. Now, because I've got deep set eyes, I'm lucky I've got a lot of space here to play with. If when you move your crease line up you find it really restricts the amount of space you've got here, there are a lot of things, well there's a couple of things you can do. You can either raise your eyebrows up, which I advise anyway because it stretches the skin out nicely and you get a better blend. The other thing you can do, I'm going to be starting off with a fluffy brush with quite a wide head on it, so there's, you know, that much is going to be in contact with my skin for blowing the shade out. You may want to start off still with a fluffy brush, but just slightly narrower here in terms of how much it splays out on the eye. This is the second brush. I go from this one to this one. Obviously, if you started with this one, I then suggest you get a tapered crease brush. Now, I know this looks like a pencil brush, but a pencil brush is quite firm, whereas a crease brush is still quite loose. And with the crease brush, you can see you've literally got just this point, depending on how much pressure you put on the brush, actually in contact with your lid. So, okay. This one actually was part of the Morphe Eye Slay set, EYE Slay, which was a set of 5 in a silver, or rather a gold bag like this. I think it was 18 quid last year when I got it. These are absolutely brilliant. I've had no fallout from these bristles at all. This one is a tart brush. I believe it came with one of the palettes that I bought from them. And this one is from Coastal Scents. So, because I had some, I was using my Spectrum brushes and I was getting some comments about, do you have to use expensive brushes? No, you don't. You know, you can buy a cheap £2 set from eBay, providing they're soft enough for you and they're not scratching the heck out of your eyes. You don't need expensive brushes. Yes, expensive brushes tend to fall out less. I find that they tend to blend a little bit quicker because the bristles are a slightly higher grade or a higher quality, and they just seem to blend out a little bit quicker, and you tend to get less fallout from bristles and stuff. But apart from that, you know, that's really the only difference that I've seen, to be honest. So I've got my colour switch here for tapping off into and for changing colours, and let's bung some colour on my eyes, shall we? There are so many colours in here I want to use, it's ridiculous. I don't know where to start, folks. Let's go into the yellow with Joy, because yellows can be quite difficult to formulate. They very often fade out. There's a reasonable amount of kick up in the pan. That doesn't worry me because at least you know you're getting the pigment on your brush. Just tap off well, and there's no need to blow the excess off because you can just pick that up to continue the blend up the eye or on the other eye, so the pigment doesn't get wasted. So, starting at the outside edge of either the natural socket of your eye or wherever you've put your crease line, let's just do little windscreen wipers backwards and forwards. I say, okay, it's quite a nice yellow. Backwards and forwards through the crease. Oh, I do like this. Right, pick up the kick up. Tap off, and now we're going to do little tiny circular movements. I'm holding the brush right at the very end to put as little pressure on as possible. When I get to here, I'm not lifting my brush off my skin, I'm just lifting it up slightly. Then I'm reversing the direction of the circles and bringing it back out again. And because I've got such deep set eyes and I've got some nice lid space, I can go up again and come back across to the middle. I tend to make sure that I leave a gap of at least 4 or 5 mils, or about a brush handle width, from the lowest part of my brow, because then when you put a brow highlight on, it shows up that much more. So once we've got the colour blended up as far as we want, and we've got the pigment that we want, I actually want to see if I can get some more pigment on there than that, because I feel like going super bright today. I do struggle on the outside corners because I've got creasing there on both eyes, so it can be quite difficult sometimes to build the pigment up just on those corners. but this seems to be coping really nicely with it. I mean, you can see, unlike a lot of yellows that initially go on really nice and blinding and then just fade out as you blend them up the eye, this is not losing any of its vibrancy at all. I'm really impressed by that because, as I said, purples, reds, and blues are the hardest colours to create, followed by greens and yellows. So, yeah. Reds can be difficult, depends how bright you want them. Right, let's just repeat that over on this side here. You can see, because this eye, I'm actually blinding this eye, that's why I can close this eye when I'm doing makeup, but not this one. Because this got pulled around a lot when I was a child, you can see I've got permanent creasing here, which leaves me with like a tiger stripe effect. I will show you, when I put a darker colour on, I will actually show you because it'll demonstrate just a bit easier. But unfortunately, I have discovered that the only way to get rid of those is I actually have to gently stretch my skin out. Don't do that unless you've already got the same problem as me, or you will have the same problem as me. The skin on your eyelids is as precious or as thin or as delicate as tissue paper, so treat it gently. So again, holding the brush right at the end, we're now going to do our little windscreen, our little sycamore leaves or helicopter blades or twirly whirlies or roundabouts or whatever you want to call them. And occasionally my fibro does make me have a bit of a spasm where I end up doing that, and I've now got yellow in my brow, so I'm really glad I haven't done my base yet. If I'm using a new palette and I don't know what the fallout's going to be like, I will actually do my base afterwards, just because it makes life a little bit easier if you do have to do any clean-up. And likewise, if I'm having a bad day fibro-wise, which I am today, I will do my base afterwards, so that if I do get moments like I just had then, like an Alfie Petitimus moment, those of you old enough to remember him, that comedian, it's not an issue and I can always tidy it up afterwards. So I am really impressed with that yellow. I mean, I know Revolution as a brand does awesome pigment, but this is, I'm loving this. This is very nice. I just want to touch very briefly on the Emily Wants palette, where some of those shades are more sheer when you first apply them. I've not got it, but I have seen a number of different reviews of it, and I've heard what Emily has said when it was launched. And the whole point of the palette was that it can be used by learners as well. So a lot of the pigments are more sheer and do require more building up, simply so that people that are new to makeup don't get intimidated by it. There's only one Revolution palette that I struggle to get good pigment from, and that's one of their very, very early palettes. So if anyone says they can't get pigment from a Revolution palette, ask them how many layers they put on. You do sometimes need to be patient with them. Right, now, which shade do I want to go in with next? These blues and purples look stunning, but I really want to use that Excite colour, that sort of greeny gold kind of. But I need to go quite dark to use that. Right, I'm going to do a bright one today, and then I'm going to use this again tomorrow and do a darker one so I can use Excite. I am going to go in with Emotion here, still on the same brush. tapping off well. You can see it really packs the pigment. This of course will now go green because colour wheel, blue and yellow, makes green. So we're going to start off with our windscreen wiper again to lay the initial pigment down. And this time what we're going to do, we're going to keep the bottom part of the brush in contact with that line at all times. So we're going to go across, but instead of lifting up, we're keeping contact with that line, still reversing the direction of the brush and coming back. Like this, because I still want to see that beautiful yellow. Obviously, I still want to see that beautiful yellow. And like I said, blues and purples can be quite difficult to cultivate, but this one seems to be blending out without too much trouble at all. And it's actually turning into quite a nice shade of green. Oh, maybe I can get away with that Excite colour after all. Ooh. I'll see how I feel once I've done the rest of the eye. See how I feel. See how the mood takes me. You know what I'm like, I open the palette up and whichever colour's called to me, that's what goes on my face that day. Unless I've been had a specific request, like for the green smoky eye that I did, and the blue smoky eye and the pink smoky eye. Right, I've taken all the colour off of this. I'm just going to dip very gently back into Joy, just to put a little bit of that yellow back on. And then where the blue, as it is now green, meets the yellow, I'm just going to gently buff over the edge, because I want that to be an absolutely seamless blend between the two colours, and I don't want to lose any of that yellow pigment, which is why I popped a little bit of it back on the brush, just so that this blending doesn't blend the depth of the yellow away. Okay, that's looking beautiful so far. Right, let's go back into Emotion and repeat. Oh, with this eye. I want my tutorials to be achievable for everybody, regardless of skill level. That's why I don't speed them up, I don't cut steps out, I don't suddenly appear back and go, look, that was blended in 3 seconds flat, when if it actually takes me 10 minutes. Partly because I want you to have an accurate indication of how long it will take you to achieve the look if you're getting ready to go out of an evening, or going out for the day. But also because when I was learning, first getting back into makeup again probably about 6-7 years ago now, I found it very frustrating because I watch most tutorials on my phone. I'm pretty sure most of us do that. And I kept having to pause it because they were speeding the blending up, or they go, right, I'm just going to go off camera and do the other eye. And I'm like, oh, right, so now I've got to rewind the tutorial and try and do the same thing in mirror image. It was so frustrating. Your screen lock kept coming on. So I always said if I had a channel, I would not speed things up, I would not cut things out. The only things I do off camera is eyeliner, because I end up going off camera like this when I'm doing it. But I have got a separate tutorial, a mini tutorial, just on how to do eyeliner. So, if you do need help with that, when I you can pause the video, open up another window, watch the eyeliner bit, and then come back to the tutorial for the rest of it. And of course, if you are, more expert or more experienced with makeup, then there is a widget, I believe it's down there, where you can speed me up. Of course, I am going to sound a little bit like a chicken, but if that amuses you in the morning before you leave for work, that's absolutely awesome. I really don't mind that. As long as you've got a smile on your face by the end of my tutorial, I'm a happy girlie. Right. It's weird, this one in my monitor looks a little bit patchy here, but in my mirror it looks absolutely fine. So that's confusing. Right, going in with my smaller tapered brush now, and I'm going to go into Champion, which makes you want to go Champion the Wonder Horse. Who remembers that on a Saturday morning? Black and white on ITV before number 73 used to be on with Sandy Toksvig on roller skates. Wow, that's going back a bit. Right, so I've picked up some Champion. I'm just going to gently pop that just on the outside edge of my eye. This is taking a little bit more packing to build up, but purples are difficult to create, but the colour does build. You just need to have a little bit of patience, but the colour does build and blend okay. Right, let's pick up a little bit more of that. Let's see whether this will actually show up against that when we go through our crease here. Yeah, kind of. Right, this time, now last time when we blended the blue which turned green, we kept the bottom of the brush in contact with the line. This time we're keeping all of the brush in contact with the line, because I don't want it to blend up the eye at all. I literally just want it to define the crease and define the shape of the eye, and you can see that is actually showing up against the green quite nicely. And it's not blending out too badly either. You're not losing too much pigment when you blend it. What do you think? I think I didn't tap off very well that side, did I? So this purple is taking a little bit more work to get the pigment, but when you work with it you can get the pigment. So yes, it does initially go on a little bit more sheer and a little bit more patchy, but it does build. There's not as much kick up with this purple shade, so that could be another reason. It feels like it's pressed a little bit firmer than the previous two shades that we used, so that could be why it's taking us a little bit more time to build the pigment up, just because we're not getting as much pigment up on our brush initially. Right, can you see now what I mean about these tiger stripes that I keep getting? And unfortunately, the only way I can deal with them is to stretch that bit of the eye out. I should really have done this with the blue as well, but never mind. I always get more fallout from this eye because the lid moves a lot more, because obviously where it was pulled around a lot more, it's lost more of the elasticity that it has, the natural ping back. So just make sure you've got a nice loose brush that you can whisk any fallout away with. Like I said, it's not too much of an issue because I haven't done my base yet anyway. But I actually quite like how that's blended. I quite like that. I quite like that a lot as it happens. Right, I'm going to go with my Obsession Pigment Boost when I do the shimmer on the lid. I'm going to go in with this Seiko flat brush. If it would actually concentrate on the brush, that would be nice. Thank you, camera. I would tell you what it's called, but I've had it so long and washed it so many times that the name's actually come off. So yeah, well done, Seiko. Brilliant. Now, shimmers I find always, I mean, they swatch beautifully on your fingers, but if you want to get that kind of intensity on your eye, you either have to put it on with your finger. Do I look like I want to poke my eye out this afternoon? No, I don't. Sorry, this morning still. I've been up so long it feels like the afternoon already. Or you can apply it using a sponge tipped applicator, those ones we all chuck away. Those are quite good for putting shimmers or pressed glitters on with. Or you put the pigment on your brush and you wet the brush. You don't have to use this particular spray, you can use any kind of face spray. You can use a moisturising spray like a Fix Plus or a Mario Badescu. You can go in with a setting spray like a Slay All Day, or you can just use fresh water. I don't go into the pan with a wet brush because that can cause hard pan and make it a lot more difficult to pick up the colour when you go back in again. So, I'm going to go into Hero Worship and whoa, pack some pigment on that brush. Look at that. Whew. Wet the brush, and by wetting the pigment you also get less fallout with it, so that's cool. I'm just gonna, wow. As I was saying before I got so shocked, I'm just gonna pop this onto the 2/3 of the lid that we haven't already popped colour onto. Wow. Oh, this is a really pretty colour. Ooh, I like this a lot. I'm just going to feather it down like that so that we still see the purple on the edge. Ooh, hello matron. Right, cleaning it off on my colour switch, drying the brush off on my hand so that I'm going back in with a dry brush to pick up pigment to do the same on the other eye. Wow. Okay. I mean, just look, that's just instantly, just wow. And without laying any concealer down, it is absolutely covering any of the purple that's on that particular section of lid. Good grief. Wow. Yeah, well done, Obsession and Revolution. This is properly pretty. Why didn't you release this palette in the summer? Can you imagine? Wow. Mind you, I don't care, I wear bright looks like this on a wet Wednesday in November. Doesn't bother me. Ooh. How pretty is that? Right, okay. Enough of me staring at myself like Narcissus looking at himself in a pool. I am going to go off camera and I'm going to bung some foundation on. It's going to be a foundation that you've already seen before, so there's no point in you watching me put that on. That'll just bore you senseless. And then I will come back and finish off underneath my eyes and decide what I'm doing with my lips. So, I'm going to be right back. Right, I'm back. Now, I'm going to go in with this flat brush that I spoke about earlier for doing your crease with hooded eyes, and I'm going to have to go with that blue, aren't I? That went green. I'm going to have to give that its own moment. So back into Emotion. Just going to really gently pop that just under the lower lash line. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way along. The reason you don't have to do a lower lash line if you don't want to. The reason I always do it, I'm flinching because I'm having to rely on muscle memory in the mirror not to poke myself in the eye. No peripheral vision, have I? The reason I always do a lower lash line, partly because I feel it finishes my look off nicely, but also because where I've got such sensitive eyes that do water quite a bit, even when I haven't got hay fever, I either end up with it completely coming off or it sort of settles in here and looks like a horrible black bogey or something. Not the most attractive of looks. I have put, you know, gel liners on the waterline when I'm doing a specific look, like for a competition or whatever, and I take a photograph of it, but then that's, you know, that's about as far as it goes. What colour do I want to smoke it out with? I've got a similar shape to the flat one that I've just used, but a lot fatter and a lot looser at the top here for buffing out. Do I want to buff it out with its own self? No, I don't think I want to. Do you know what? Although it's a shimmer, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Hero Worship, which is, it's a teal, so when you put it against blue it looks green, and when you put it against green it looks blue. So up here it looks blue, this is against blue. Let's see if it looks a little bit more green or when I buff it out with this. Yeah, it's more of a sort of like turquoisey colour. That's interesting. It's good that you've got, so that's effectively two shades in one, depending on what colour you put it with. And I guess if you don't put it next to blue or green, it will appear teal. So technically, it's a triple shade. I'm just going to gently buff that lower lash line out just to soften it, so it's not such a harsh line. I like that. Now, let's see how bright Cloud 9 is. Because it's like a pinky, it's like a white with a pinky purpley duochrome shift. So let's see if this is bright enough for my inner corner. Not bad. I think I probably will end up going over it with highlighter though. I like my inner corner to be boom, as I'm sure regular viewers will know. Let's just try this on the brow bone, see how it looks up there. That's quite a nice subtle brow bone highlight, but you'll know we don't do subtle in this house. Actually, that is quite a nice brow bone highlight. That's, yeah. Do you know what? That's growing on me. I think I'll leave that as is on that brow bone. Right, let's grab some highlighter now. Which highlighter do I want to use today? Let's grab this Revolution Platinum Ingot highlighter and just give that inner eye just a little bit more zhuzh. If you know what I mean by zhuzh. Just a bit more. You can see it just shines back just that little bit more. Do you know what? I'm going to have to put that up here now as well. just blend it very lightly with the first shade. So you can see, you can go subtle with it or you can go more dramatic. But you know what I'm like, no such thing as subtle in my vocabulary when it comes to highlights. Right, let's zoom you out a bit so I can do the rest of my face. No, that's the right way, Bomber, there we go. This is a Zoeva 105 Luxe highlight brush. So we're just going to run that down the nose and top lip and chin, and then we're going to put some on our cheeky bones. I might go old style today and use two different highlighters. So that's the platinum ingot, which, as you can see, pretty blinding. But I'm going to go into the I Heart Revolution Lightning, which is a baked highlighter. And as you can see, it kicks a little bit of a punch. Which is exactly what we like to see. This does have micro glitter in it though, so if you're wearing contact lenses, do not use it on your inner eye because it will irritate the hell out of it. I found this out the hard way. Allow me to make the mistakes so you don't have to. You didn't think I wasn't going to top those up, did you? I mean, really? Oh, come on now. I might even just do a little bit like that. Because, let's face it, when it comes to highlight, more is more. You know what I'm like, folks. I'm not going to change. Right, I'm going to go off camera, do something with my hair, bung some mascara on. I don't think I'm going to do liner today because I want that look to shout by itself. And I'll be right back with my final thoughts. I'm back. I used the Benefit Bad Gal Bang on my upper lashes and I used Barry M That's How I Roll waterproof on my bottom lashes. The lipstick is a NYX Wicked Lippy, which is a bullet lipstick, and it is in shade 03 Trickery. I just thought it was a nice contrast to the beautiful brightness of the eyes. So, first impressions on this palette. I really like it. I was stunned by how well that yellow kept its pigment when you blended it up. The blues and the purples. Yes, you had to work a little bit with the purple, but you could get the pigment, you could build it up, it would blend. That shimmer is just stunning, let's face it, it's beautiful. So yeah, all told, for first impressions, I'm quite happy. Right, it's time for setting spray. Because, regular viewers say with me, when we've spent this long getting ourselves looking beautiful, we want it to stay put. This is another one by Obsession. It's their Prep, Fix and Glow 3-in-1 skin mix. This is new. It's a 3-in-1 water-based mist, combines a long-lasting performance with skin-loving actives. A cocktail of antioxidants and nutrients help to soften and condition, whilst also helping to neutralise free radicals and combat environmental aggressors. So, move the drink out of the way because I don't particularly want to get setting spray in my drink. Now, give it a shake. Quite an aggressive spray, okay. We hold it at our arm's length and we liberally douse our face. Now you see, most people would stop here. I'm a little bit extra, and I like a little bit extra. You can stop here if you wish. Right. There we go. Voila. Today's look. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button for me, comment, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, don't forget to ring my bell, and select all notifications so that you get told every time I upload another one of these videos. And talking about another one of these videos, I've got an awful lot of videos to choose from now. Why don't you pop over and just have a look at another one? You know you want to, you know you can't resist. And if you've watched all of my videos, well, in the description box are some channels. They are small channels, like myself, and we are in a tiny little group called the Beauty YouTuber Growth Group, and we all support each other and link our channels in each other's videos in the hope that we can help each other grow and spread the love, I guess. So, once you've watched my videos, why don't you pop over and have a look at one of theirs? They're all very friendly, and I'm sure they'd love to have you join their families, just like you're in my 4F family. And if you've come from one of the other channels and are just experiencing me for the first time, I'm so glad to have you on board. I really hope you enjoyed this and that you'll want to come back for more. Right, as ever, all that remains for me to say is you'll stay fabulous now, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.